You've been told that all debt is dangerous, that the goal is to owe nothing to no one, but the wealthiest people you've ever heard of are often deep in debt on purpose. The difference isn't how much they borrow, it's what the borrowed money does once it's in their hands. By the end of this video, you'll be able to look at any loan and instantly tell whether it's building your future or quietly burying it. Forget good and bad for a second. There's really only one question that matters about any debt. Does this money work for you, or do you work for it? Borrowed money is just a tool. A hammer can build a house or break a window. The hammer doesn't decide. What decides is whether the thing you bought with that money tends to grow in value or produce income over time, or whether it simply loses value while charging you interest. That's the whole framework. Debt that buys something likely to grow or pay you is what people loosely call good debt. Debt that buys something that shrinks while costing you interest is bad debt. Same tool, opposite outcomes. Let's make it concrete. Historically, the classic examples of productive debt share one trait. The borrowed money buys something that can out-earn the interest you pay on it. Think of a mortgage on a property that may appreciate and can be rented for income. Think of a low-interest loan that lets a business buy equipment that produces more than the loan costs. Think, carefully, of borrowing to gain a skill or credential that meaningfully raises your earning power. The math is simple in principle. If you borrow at, say, a modest interest rate and the asset reliably returns more than that rate, the gap is yours. You use someone else's money to capture a return you couldn't have reached alone. That's leverage, and it's one of the quiet engines behind a lot of wealth. But notice the words I keep using. Reliably, historically, can. Leverage magnifies whatever happens. When the asset performs, leverage multiplies your gains. When it doesn't, it multiplies your losses just as fast. Good debt is only good when the numbers genuinely work and you can survive the bad years. Now the other side. Bad debt is borrowing to buy things that lose value the moment you own them, usually at high interest. The textbook example is a credit card balance on everyday spending. Here's why it's so dangerous. With productive debt, an asset is working for you in the background. With bad debt, compound interest is working against you in the foreground. You're paying a premium every month for things that are already worth less than you paid. Picture a balance carried at a high rate. The thing you bought, the dinner, the gadget, the impulse purchase, is long gone. But the interest keeps compounding on what's left, so you can end up paying far more than the sticker price, sometimes for years. Illustratively, a balance left to compound at a high rate can roughly double over time if you only make minimum payments. That's the trap. Bad debt doesn't just cost you the interest, it steals the money you could have been investing, the opportunity cost, at the exact age when time would have done the most for you. So how do you actually apply this? 4 filters before you borrow a single dollar. 1. Asset or liability. Ask what the money is buying. Will it likely grow or pay you, or will it shrink while charging you? If you can't honestly call it an asset, treat the loan as a cost, not a strategy. 2. Does the return clear the interest with room to spare? Productive debt only makes sense when the expected return comfortably beats the borrowing cost. Thin margins leave no cushion for the years that don't go your way. 3. Can you survive the downside? Leverage is survivable only if a bad stretch won't force you to sell at the worst possible moment. The wealthy borrow with a buffer, savings, steady income, or both, so they're never forced into a fire sale. 4. Kill high-interest bad debt first. Before chasing any clever leverage, clear the debt that's compounding against you at high rates. Paying off a high-interest balance is a guaranteed return equal to that rate, and a guaranteed return is rare and valuable. One honest caveat: borrowing to invest amplifies risk, and it isn't right for everyone. Plenty of people build serious wealth using no leverage at all, just steady investing over time. Good debt is a tool, not a requirement. The point isn't to chase loans, it's to stop fearing all debt equally and start judging each one by what it actually does. So here's the reframe. Debt isn't good or bad on its own. It's a multiplier. Point it at assets that out-earn their cost with a margin of safety, and it can accelerate your wealth. Point it at things that lose value at high interest, and it quietly works against you for years. The wealthy aren't fearless about debt. They're precise about it. They ask one question: is this money working for me, or am I working for it? And they only borrow when the answer is the right one. If this gave you a cleaner way to look at every loan you'll ever take, subscribe. Every week we break down how money actually works, no hype. The free net worth tracker in the description will help you see your debts and assets side by side, so you know exactly where you stand. I'll see you in the next one.